cap the income of cost of living allowances for veterans and senior citizens. Is that true? Do you know about that?
Yes, there's all sorts of cutting veterans benefits and cutting disabled veterans benefits, and they're getting ready to scale back on the pension funds of officers. So it's going to be a nightmare situation. Unlimited trillions to foreign banks and derivatives, but they're going to cheat and falsify the contracts by law, and are moving now and have all sorts of articles in the Army Times and stuff about taking and cutting back the pensions of the armed services veterans.
Yeah, it's just not fair to me. I was trying to get Social Security disability for 10 years. And what it is they keep you in the system for 10 years, and after that, you're no longer eligible, just so all the veterans that are out there coming back from the wars know if they're disabled, they'll try to keep you in the system for 10 years, and then after 10 years, you're no longer eligible to even apply.
Well, that's right. I've had veterans' rights groups on. The VA spends like half its money on PR and propaganda, and it's there to keep an eye on the obsolete weaponry that they see the humans as, that they want to spike like an old cannon. And there's some good people in the system that still try to do a good job, but it's extremely predatory. I mean, look at how they announce veterans as the #1 enemy of Homeland Security with a straight face in the news. And the new army that's going to be domestic as they scale back worldwide is pointed directly at anybody that is a real American. I mean, it's Twilight Zone level.
Well, I'm doing what I can to keep myself occupied. I might be disabled, but I'm a recording artist. SRV was a friend of mine. A lot of your friends I've met before, and I'm sure we've ran in the same circles as far as musicians go, but that's what I do, man. I play music, and I'm real good at it, and the blues. I love the blues.
Well, we played some of that earlier for you, brother. God bless you, and I appreciate your call. Yeah, I don't want to get into complex economic discussions here, but we can build with the technology we have and automation and factories. We can build any society and any culture that we want. It's basically unlimited what we can do. And Dr. Bob Bowman, who was a nuclear physicist, wrote about this, and we had him on. The fact that with automation and the systems we have, we should be working 2 days a week, and the rest of it doing art and literature and uplifting more needy people. And the globalists talk about this. They talk about how the Federal Reserve wants to keep the economy from, quote, overheating and growing faster than 3.5%. Well, our economy grew at 10% for most of our history until the Federal Reserve came in. So what they want is stagnation. They want feudalism. And they want that on record. And if anybody deserves to get their health care and to get their pensions, it's the service people. But notice the World War I marchers, the bonus marchers, that Eisenhower, to his discredit, along with MacArthur, they were both young colonels, killed a bunch of veterans in D.C. that have been camped out for months, demanding that they get their World War I bonus. And these were people that had arms and legs blown off. And it wasn't even that big of a sum. And what they got was army tanks and bullets and horses. And MacArthur and Eisenhower, who weren't bad guys compared to our elites today, notice were elevated to running everything because they would kill U.S. veterans. So just a little factoid that most people are not aware of right there. Truth Raider, you're on the air worldwide. Thanks for calling.
The Truth Raider is on the march. The Empire is on the run. Live with Alex Jones from Austin, Texas, in the dark.
That's right. You got a really good voice over a telephone, buddy.
Thank you very much. I'm praying that something will come along in the future that I have my opportunity, but we'll see what happens if I ever get into radio or become an annex broadcaster for you, perhaps in the Northwest. Maybe you could use...
Well, what I suggest is if you build it, they will come. I would start out with Access Television because that has pretty good audiences and nobody uses it. People, if it's interesting, will tune through and stop. Then I'd use those tapes to get a local radio show, or I'd start your own radio show on YouTube every day, do an hour or so, and then you'll end up getting a radio show. But people are always waiting for it to happen. You have to go out and do it.
Exactly. Okay, today I want to talk about two topics, the electronic disassociation that we have in society, and number two, the slow and insidious transition into a socialist society here in America.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, electronics, cell phones, iPads, iPods, wherever you look. You see people buried, their faces buried in these electronic gadgets, and it's disassociated people. I go by conspiracies that I can prove, and I've seen this.
No, it's on record with the wavelengths and all of it. The language is shrinking. People aren't communicating. They're becoming total loners, and they're living inside their devices instead of living in the real world. It's a very serious phenomenon that's being done by design.
Yes, I see that. And the insidious transition into a social society. How they're doing this? Well, I've seen this for over 10 years, and it's starting to come here to the Northwest, but we're having an Hispanicization of our country. Now, I have nothing against Hispanic people. Most of them are pretty good people, but they're bringing the wrong ones here to our country.
Well, it is true that a lot of the criminals and dregs of Latin America are coming here, gaming the system, and then they keep extreme nationalistic, anti-white, anti-black racism, and that's a minority, but it's a large minority, and then it supposedly has to be overlooked and ignored, and is cute, and it's meant to break the country up and create more balkanization for the North American Union, because again, they merge the three states into one, but then they're going to break things up into subregions within the larger unions.
Yes, indeed. The best Mexicans I've ever known, the ones that went through the process. I had a good friend that went through the process of immigrating here, and he went through a 10 to 12 year excruciating process of always having to fill out applications and everything he had to go through. No.
I mean, good, hardworking people, they make it impossible. I don't even care if you're from Western Europe, wherever it's at, or Mexico, and then the criminals just come in and get legalized. I know, it's amazing. I appreciate your call. I mean, look, folks, you can't go to Mexico and demand to have your baby for free or demand welfare. They'd laugh at you. And nobody else does this but Western Europe and the United States. And it's designed to break the countries up. And they can politically correct, go, oh, no, it's for peace and to diversify things. No, it's being done as a political tool, and everybody knows it. Let's go ahead and talk to Lance in Kansas. Lance, you're on the air.
Hello, Alex. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right, brother.
Well, thank you. I'd like to, first of all, you hate to hear thanks, but I'd like to thank you for pointing me in the right direction to wake me up. Not necessarily for waking me up, but thank you for presenting information to me that I did not know existed and giving me the ability to research it myself and use my own brain. God forbid that.
Crime.
Yes. Use my own brain to figure out what is right and what is wrong. And I live in Lawrence, Kansas, and I just wanted to comment on Ted Nugent last night and how whatever her name was would deviate from his points and keep on her point at trying to get Ted Nugent to admit that he was, a white trash, potty-mouthed, just a hater of all races. He would point out that Obama is murdering people. Hillary doesn't get it that 4 Americans got killed in Benghazi. But that's not important because Ted Nugent called them potty-mouthed names.
Well, listen, the issue is it's all about the establishment setting the parameters of values and then lecturing us all day. And obviously Nugent's just using this to get himself more fame and fortune, which I think is fine, and it's backfiring on them. But the so-called dinosaur mainstream media doesn't have any power anymore. And as soon as people realize that and just laugh at them, it goes away. All they've got is race politics. And they are the ones that, did people get mad at Bill Maher last week when he called Matt Drudge a stupid cracker? It's again, I've got MSNBC calling white people names. White people doing it. They're only trying to stir up race. In fact, let me just mention this article since you raised it. This is out of the Daily Sheeple, but it was first reported by WHIO Television. This is up on Infowars.com. A Bible stopped the bullets when a white man was targeted by young black polar bear hunters. And it goes on to describe it as an expansion on the knockout game to go and knock out unsuspecting crackers. And the new game, the police say the bus driver, this is a WHIO News, police say the bus driver is lucky to be alive after 3 black teenagers stabbed and shot him. A Bible over the bus driver's heart stopped 2 bullets and allowed him to fight off a knife attack from his assailants. 1 additional bullet stuck him in the leg. The teens also stabbed him in the arm. The attack came in the morning at 5:30 when the driver stopped his bus because of mechanical difficulties. As he was outside the bus assessing how to fix the problem, the 3 suspects came up to him and said they were going to shoot a polar bear today. And it just goes on right there that the Bible saved him. They were ages 15 to 18. My issue is if white groups were doing this, it would be on every channel, and they would be saying whites collectively are to blame. I'm not saying blacks are collectively to blame, but there are large subcultures of young black males that viciously hate white people and viciously go out and attack them. I don't blame everybody because of that. But again, these type of news stories get shut down and covered up. So I appreciate your call. Good to hear from you, Lance. Frank, Richard, Kevin, 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. It's radio, old style, no video feed today. We're turning lemons into lemonade from the InfoWars Command Center, deep in the heart of Texas. PrisonPlanet.tv. Stay with us. Every move you make, every breath you take, the loving offshore banks that run our government are watching you. And they're totally cold-blooded, and they want to make you poor so that you're so dumbed down and working so hard you don't know why you have no political rights and no future. They use poverty on record as a tool of social control. And we'll be like every other nation soon. Our wealth, our language, our IQs, our health is pouring out like a man who's had his legs chopped off with huge meat cleavers. The New World Order creates poverty and pain. Globalism, world government is a fraud. And I don't want to be a slave of these people. I want to be free and build a better world. We're going to continue with your calls into this segment and the next, and then I'm going to break down what's starting to be big news, and I'm glad it is big news. They're going to come out with these 3-parent children. I want to break down exactly what this really means, ladies and gentlemen. That is all coming up in the next hour and more. I mentioned this yesterday, but I'm going to cover it today on the polio-like illness found in 5 California children. And I know I had this yesterday in the stack. Will you guys pull me the mainstream news articles about the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and their vaccines paralyzing the kids? Well, I guess almost all the power's off. A major transformer blew up in this area of Austin, and so we're on backup generator and can't even get on most of our computers. It doesn't matter. People can look it up for themselves. Briefly, what's not down is Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. And when you go there, you can see the online shopping cart. We have the new Molon Labe. I think it's the best Molon Labe. Come and take it. Spartan M4 shirt out there. Victory for the Second Amendment. My design. It's up there on InfoWarsStore.com. It is the best seller ever. Right after the Mass Murderers Agree Gun Control Works shirt that I designed 16 years ago. That's our first T-shirt that we still sell. And by the way, the Molon Labe shirts are all made in America. Madein1776.com will lead you right to the Made in America apparel area and InfoWarsStore.com, but both places will take you there. And you heard the rave review for Super Male Vitality. We're running into next week the 15% off as an introduction to it, the Super Male Vitality that just really helps reverse the estrogen mimickers that are blocking normal testosterone and so much more. It's designed to make you feel like a natural male should. And believe me, it's not hype, folks. It's powerful, concentrated herbs that I can't even take the full dose on. I've got friends that take more than the regular dose. Consult your doctor if you have any questions, InfoWarsLife.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Okay, let's go ahead and go to Richard in Mississippi. Richard, thanks for calling.
Good morning, Alex. How are you?
Good, brother. Go ahead. What's on your mind today?
First off, let me just say we still have some of the Second Amendment in force down here in Mississippi. We do have open carry of sidearms, and I encourage all fellow Mississippians to make sure they exercise that right wherever they go.
Because an unexercised right doesn't exist.
Absolutely. I called today about the situation in the Ukraine. I keep hearing the one word over and over, Nazis. I hear the deposed president saying that they are facing the return of Nazism. The new angelic leader with her braided hair, Tymoshenko, came from a party, a far right-wing party called the Fatherland Party.
No, and it's being funded by George Soros. And again, they're not right-wing in the sense of private property guns. They're right-wing in the sense of they're anti-Russian and anti-Slav and think they're subhuman.
Absolutely. And last year in December, when our